This first stage is the new moon. In this stage, none of the side of the moon facing Earth is illuminated. This is because the light from the sun is directly hitting the side of the moon facing away from Earth. You can also see by looking in the bottom left-hand corner, where I've drawn a face on the moon to show the man on the moon, that the entire moon is covered up with the black square to show that none of the moon can be seen from Earth in this stage. This next stage is called the waxing crescent stage. If I draw one ray of sun from the sun to the moon, you will see that the sun passes through just a crescent of the sight line from Earth. You can also look again to the man on the moon to see how it would look on Earth. The third stage is the first quarter moon. This is because the sun rays are coming from Earth and hitting about half of the moon, but it's called first quarter because we're really seeing a half of the moon that's illuminated, so it's technically a quarter of the moon. The next stage is the waxing gibbous stage, which means that slightly more than half of the moon is illuminated, as you can see on our man in the moon in the corner. So again, if I would just draw the sun rays, just a couple of them of course, you can see that almost all of our sight line is filled by this illumination and sun, so we can see almost all of the moon. Finally, our fifth stage is the full moon because the light from the sun goes right through the sight line, showing us what looks like a full moon, even though it is technically only half because we have the dark side of the moon not facing us. Anyway, you can again refer back to the man on the moon to see that we can see a full bright moon in the sky. Stage 6 brings us into the waning part of the moon cycle, so it will be getting from full moon back towards the new moon. So, as you can see, our man on the moon's face is starting to get covered up again, just slightly. This is because the sun rays, again, get through most of it, and that's not a very accurate drawing, but it does not reach all the way through the sight line. So we are starting to see less and less of the moon again. We are now to our third quarter stage, which again looks like half, even though it's only a quarter. So half of the man on the moon's face is covered up, and the sun rays are getting halfway through our sight line before getting cut off. And finally, our last stage before finishing the cycle and getting back to the new moon is our waning crescent, where the man on the moon's face is for the most part gone, and only a small crescent of light is getting into our sight line from the Earth to the moon.